Alright, first game between Happy and Tefel in our consolation match actually. Happily not making it through the tournament or through the group without losing a best of 3. He lost to Lil Bao in the winner's match and now he finds himself in the consolation match against Tefel, who took down Mini Razor in game, well, in the loser's match. So up to the top left of Nimbus, we have Happy starting in red here and cross position to the bottom right. It is Tefel, the Polish player. And I can't cast a Polish player to at least wish him a little bit good luck, and of course very hardy Napierdalai has to come in there as well. Mana taught me well when he was in Korea, so I have to show off my Polish skills, which are quite embarrassing, but that's the one thing that I can put out there, and I guess the Polish fans will, yeah, probably understand that. Kamek kinda told me not to use that while I was at IEM in Katowice. It would probably not be really adequate for like the big stage, but right here I feel we can go through this. Tefel versus Happy, that's what we're currently having here, so let's see how exactly this game is gonna end. It's the first game, of course, and we have for Tefel the 14 pool. I mean, Tefel is using this build in every single game and matchup. That's his build. He is confident in, like, he just like thinks this is the build that he can work the best with. Like, he has that build down to the T, starting with a 14 pool and then several variations from there on out. But like, this is what he feels confident in, where he says like, alright, I got this, this is my build, no matter what he does, I will be safe, I will be sound, and I will be in a good spot at the end of it. So to the top left we have for the Terran player, now his expansion started, so we have actually command center and then gas taken, and Happy is playing this pretty greedy if you so want, not starting it with that early gas into barracks that we saw him play earlier in the series against Mini Razor. I know this time he switches it up a bit. And currently at this point we have Happy with a full wall at the front. Already pointed out earlier that on Nimbus you can easily pull it off, since you can protect both of your bases with only 2 structures. You don't need much more than that. Down to the bottom right, what we currently see there, we have gas taken, of course, for Tefel. He's going to try and get his own speed as fast as possible. We have the hatch for him also at the same time. And, well, Tefel has so far played a pretty decent group. He was already down a loser's match after he lost to Lil Bao. Fought his way into this consolation match against Mini Razor. It was a 2-1, so it was a pretty close series at that. And up to the top left is now his new opponent. They haven't met in this particular group stage yet. So let's find out if Tefel can really pull it off here, or if Happy is gonna throw him a curveball that Tefel just can't catch. So right now we have Happy with 9 supply going straight into the factory. We do not see a second gas for him yet, but he still took that gas very early, so he will have enough gas to go straight into a starport if he wants to. Down to the bottom right we have Tefel, like, not too much happening in regards to tech. He pulled out of gas once that he had the 100 that he needed for his speed, and we have him instead going, of course, straight into that upgrade. Will later on then also add, of course, layer, but right now that's all that he wants to do, and the third base is what he takes in there. Look at these changes though. We've been talking about this map a bit, and I have always mentioned that there are Zerg players that will take the expansion down here so that they can spread the creep faster towards the ramp to go for the double block with the queens and then get a free base over here on the high ground. And that's exactly what Tefel is doing right now. So it's in the end a matter of preference, what you really want to do and how you want to play the game. Tefel says, I want to take this base as a safe third later, and I will get my expansion out here on the low ground, which is exactly what he does. Up to the top left we have Happy with his command center. So this is command center number 3, not going into a double gas build, not with LNGs, not early that is, and then into the cloaked banshees, but instead he goes for the 3rd command center, has that already on the way, and we have him with Hellions being produced now. So the overlords are getting into position for Tefel. It's all about the scouting, trying to find out, are there already medivacs? Well, not at this point, but like later on. Where are the medivacs headed? Are they moving out? What is the Terran player doing? Does he have an expansion over here? Do we see missile turrets? Is there some kind of hidden tech? So Tefel is going to try and find all that out, while Happy is of course poking with his units and just trying to have a bit of a look. Interestingly enough, we have the first siege tank being built, and Tefel is one of those players that loves to go Roach Hydra. It's a build that he absolutely adores, and it's actually something that he has done long before Blizzard decided that the Hydras need a bit of a DPS push. And it is very interesting to see that Happy is going for a straight siege tank. So he gets one tank, and well, at the same time Tefel is starting with the upgrades for the ground army. So we don't see him with range upgrades, we don't see him with the Roachborn. Instead he just goes, oh wow, he actually goes for Burrow. Are we gonna see a Burrow for the Banelings, or what is his idea here? Cancels it, okay. Cancels the upgrade, apparently it was only a misclick. He has his lair tag already underway, which has been scanned by Happy, as you can see here. So Happy is, when it comes to scouting, not afraid to drop a simple scan. A lot of Terran players will refrain from that because they say it's an extra mule that I waste. We have refineries taken for the Terran player, a third base also on the way for him now. Baneling nest is being built for Tefel, so he's really just gearing up right now. And Tefel looks like we're going with all the gas that he has. He can go straight for a Spire. We have him with 10 additional harvesters. That's going to put his harvester count up to roughly 60, or actually ahead of 60. And the starport for the Terran player. It's a very, very like slow-paced game right now. Both players just poking. It's no real commitments, no engagements, like no timings that are being used here. The fourth base for Tefel, they're both just macroing it up and trying to get into a position where they can get a bit ahead or advantage. Once more, the Spire that we've seen in so many games today already for the Mutalisks. Drones being produced everywhere. And keep in mind that that scan that we just saw from Happy missed the Spire, so he doesn't know. He sees what his opponent has and can probably assume what it is, but he doesn't have it yet. Both of them going for the upgrades now. The Hellions need to be careful here. Nice micro from Happy so far. Job well done. Keeps most of those Hellions alive, actually all of them, and roasts a few Zerglings in the process. It's very similar to the Korean barbecue that we oftentimes see, especially when a Korean Terran player clashes with a European Zerg. At least most Zergs that is. Upgrades are done for Tefel now. He has the option of going to +2/+2, and there it is. +2 attack has started. Armor upgrade not yet, but I guess it will in a second. He has the resources, and he of course needs to save also a bit if he really wants to go straight into the Mutalisk production here. So both of them still very, very hesitant to commit to anything. 80 worker supply for Tefel. 80. We have 59 for Happy. Happy still not having a big army out on the map just yet. 36 supply versus 39 in army supply. We have also 2 started for Happy. The Terran player is a bit faster with that than his opponent. Down here, I mean, that's not really a poke. That's like 3 Hellions. That's a bit of a Terran embarrassment. Like, that's one of those things where Tefel is just probably going to start yawning. And he's like, really? 3 Hellions? Oh wow, I'm scared. Oh wait, no, I'm not. If that's like a lot more Hellions and a couple of Reapers with that, then it might be a different story. But those Hellions in the end didn't do anything else but give Happy a bit of scouting information. That's what they were there for. So, to the top left, Happy is starting to move out. That one siege tank is still there. Feels probably a little bit silly being like all alone. There's no siege tank lady that he can marry and have like beautiful little siege tanks with. So right now 1 tank and a lot of marines on the way down to the bottom right. Mutalisks are being built, and up to the top we have 1 missile turret here. We also actually we do have no missile turret over at the third base. Alright, so he might be able to just sneak in there, or he's just gonna wait for more Mutalisk and burst down that 1 missile turret that we have. I also think that those supply depots are not in range. Yes, he can take down the supply depots pretty easily. So the first one is gone, and also the supply block for Happy. Happy is supply block, but he's trying to put pressure on the base down at the bottom. There's a lot of lings, a couple of banelings that he can send in, and well, so far they are on 1-1. That siege tank at the front is actually doing a bit of work and getting a couple of shots off, but now he is taken out, and well, there are more Mutalisks coming from the top, so Happy might actually lose all of his medivacs there. Nope, not quite. 1 Mutalisk instead is down. Wow, 3 Mutalisks lost to this because he was distracted by another drop that we have over here on the high ground expansion. Happy's drop play once again getting pretty scary as it is versus Mini Razor. Doing whatever he can to take his opponent down here. Nice drops against the Baneling with individual Marines. As a Marine, you would probably disagree and say like, hey, why do I need to die just so that 1 Baneling explodes? But from the general's view, from Happy, it's of course a big gain to trade 1 Marine for Baneling. We have a 4th base for Happy also set up, and that's where it starts to become quite scary for the Zerg player if the Terran just expands all over the map and is suddenly on an even number of bases with you. The hive tech for Tefel is on the other hand something that definitely is going to work in his favor if he can get his 3/3 upgrades out. Happy is going to be faster with that. In fact, he's already on 2/2 and can take the +3/+3 if he wants to. The Mutalisk flock is pretty big, 19 so far. Doesn't really focus on that just yet. Loses another Mutalisk here. He actually loses a few too many of them. Up over here we have Happy with that 4th base, not upgraded to the planetary fortress just yet, but it's close. And it should be able to, yeah, there are not enough banelings to really just burst it down, so that planetary will be defendable. He gets the Mutalisks in, but the missile turrets aren't ready. Oh yes, so those SCVs are gonna die. Not gonna take down the planetary, that's not gonna happen. The Marines are still there, but he might be able to take something down over here. Oh, and that's always juicy. A supply depot with extra supply, hell yeah, he's gonna take that. Another thing is traded for a Mutalisk, but another one gets an SCV maybe. Yep, 1 SCV down, 2 additional missile turrets. Heads over there. Oh god, like Tefel, that's not really necessary. You know, he's distracted by the drop down to the bottom. A double drop hitting that base again. Bit surprised that he didn't keep any spine crawlers around, or maybe a second spore crawler down here somewhere. But losing Mutalisk is something that should never happen to you, and he lost way too many. Looking at the Mutalisk that he lost, it's 12 Mutalisks that he lost, and that's, of course, tricky. But we have now Tefel at 200 supply still, and with a decent bank too. He has 1,000 minerals, 25. Wow, leaving that 1 Marine behind. Poor guy, I mean, seriously, he didn't deserve that. Not an Ohana moment. Definitely a few people left behind and alone. Oh yeah, and Mutalisks are there to the rescue. This time he actually micros them a lot better. Doesn't lose one of the Mutalisks. Kind of learned his lesson there. Ultralisk Cavern on the way. Adrenal Glands. +2 armor. No 3rd attack upgrade yet. We have +3/+3 by the way for Happy on the way. Happy's on 4 bases. As a Zerg player, if I see a Terran player on 4 bases, I always feel a little bit weird, because you really don't want that. You want to keep the Terran player as low as you can. The thing is, from that 3rd out on, it's really tricky to expand for Happy. He needs to set up a couple of missile turrets at that location if he goes for another one, maybe over here, and another planetary, and that base will be a lot farther away than the 4 that he's currently controlling. The drop is once more heading towards the base there, and this base is really just getting slaughtered the entire time, isn't it? I mean, every single time we have Happy moving in there. Here comes the stim, maybe a bit too late, can deal with the Zerglings and kill a few more Harvesters. Yeah, the rest of the Lings are already there. He's actually trying to target down the headshot, damaging it at this point. Workers killed, 22 by Happy, 22 workers killed. And the harvester count is 81 for the Terran player against 66. 81 harvesters for Terran player is a lot. And look at the energy that we have on the command center here. I mean, this one is on 200. We have this one over here on 50. Another one, well, that doesn't have energy. But this one is also close to 200. So he can call on so many mules. He doesn't need 80 SCVs. 80 SCVs are not needed for this. You should actually think about sacking a few of them to make sure that he has better army supply. Because right now he's at 100 against 130. Here come the Lings going for the planetary. The Banelings are trying to roll in. Where's the repair? He's trying to go straight for the SCVs. The Banelings are starting to bust through, taking down a lot of the SCVs. Actually doing Happy more or less a favor here. And Happy is getting a lot of damage in with his army. But of course lost quite a bit of supply as well. Is not starting the SCV production again. He's now looking at 68 harvesters, and that is a much more healthy SCV count, considering that he has so many mules that he could call down. We have also Thors in the mix, 3 by now, and with 26 Mutalisks, 3 to 4 Thors is gonna become an issue. Massive amount of structures. Goes for a cancel for the oversupply. 207, that's what he has right now. Helped of course also to keep the drones alive against the drop that we just saw escape from the Mutalisks rushing in for the rescue. So Tefel is at 207 supply, 206 still in the oversupply there, and we have Happy going for 4th base. Another drop to 5th base actually, with another drop to the right side of the map. Taking out the Queen. Resources lost, to give you a bit of an idea, 12,000 against roughly 10,000 resources lost so far. Oh, wow, he moves back, and nice hit. That Widowmine here, 24 kills, a commander. Nice hit with the Widow Mine. Like, that Widow Mine definitely deserves a medal. Good job. And we have 2 more, 3 more actually. Whoa. Okay, the Ultulists, they don't really care. I mean, that's just going to tickle them a little bit. Actually, it's tickling them a lot. Here we have the Thors, and God, no, don't cluster the Mutalisks up like that. Oh, but he chases the Thors down. There's just way too much. Happy suddenly on the run. He's down in army supply. Here comes another Thor in. But look at the Mutalisks. They didn't really care. Happy didn't get the shots off with the Thors. And all of the Thors, or most of them, are done. Happy is down 50 supply all of a sudden. And we have Tefel just moving in. There's counter-aggression down. Well, actually, there's not. We have one base over here, another one up there. So he has the amount of bases that he needs. He also has a lot of money. 2,600 minerals and 1,600 gas. Tefel is starting to push in, but so far Happy is actually holding on to this. The problem is that a few of his bases are now going to be taken out. I mean, this one over here, he cannot defend. That's just not going to happen. But I don't even think that Tefel knows about all the bases. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know about the one over here. He doesn't know about the base up there to the top. That can be one of the bases where you call on your mules. Down here, we still have like a few Marines that are starting to run in. Not quite sure if that's the greatest idea, since he's not going to assume that there's a base and run up top. The Marines are actually seen. Well, actually he does. He moves up top and he checks if there's a base, and as it happens, there is. The planetary isn't done yet even. So this is gonna fall. You can lift that all day long, but that command center is not gonna make it. There are too many Mutalisks already. The resources lost, well, that turned really fast. Now they have nearly the same amount of resources lost at this point, and with that one last base up to the top now finally being saturated with mules, it's gonna boost his income for sure. I mean, like, he's like skyrocketing here in a second. But at the same time, of course, in regards to like steady income, Happy is gonna find himself in some trouble. But Tefel isn't expanding. He's still relying on the base that he has, and that makes him very dependent on the army that we currently see on the board for him. And if he loses this army, then it's gonna get very tough. Controlling the choke point is the first step to victory, and every journey begins with the first step. Yeah, taking those additional steps to kill the Overseers is also definitely going to help. Now the Overseers are going down. We have no detection anymore against Widow Mines. There are only 2 in the map right now, but we have 4 more being built. No drops down at the bottom, but look at the mineral lines. This one is about to be depleted. This one over here has still quite a lot, but in the main base there's nothing left. But he finds the planetary. Good job by Tefel scouting this out. Sees it at the top, sacrifices even a few banelings for it, but he gets that kill, and that's the kill that he really needed. 26 Mutalisks and still no Thors. He had 4 Thors earlier, but they never got their shots in because they were always running away. Happy still has money. 1,300 minerals, and he also has gas. One drop about to take one of the bases down. Job well done by Happy, keeping the Zerg player low, and he realizes by now, I think, that Tefel doesn't have an additional base either. So that is keeping his hopes up. Because if Tefel can't expand, then Happy can do something like this. Dropping to the left, dropping to the right. Trying to just spread the Zerg player out, and there's another drop over here already. And these things are starting to do some serious damage. The Ultulis popping there is, of course, yeah, a bit unlucky for him. Did he just fly straight into that Spokeler? No, he didn't. He dropped again and is taking down some more units. Down here he also killed quite a few, so Harvester's killed 43 against 42. Happy is at 173 supply against 186. They both have similar army supply now. Nearly the identical amount of worker supply. Burrow is now about to be completed. They will allow him to set some traps with burrowed banelings. And we have for the Terran player, well, what do we have? How many Thors? 1 Thor, that's all that he's got. And 6 Medivacs. It's not really like a massive army, especially since Happy seems to feel the need to stay at home and be careful of how he's going in. And actually, I think that's good. Like, he can't really move out. He cannot fight out in the open. It's going to be too tricky. But he needs, he needs to do something, and he's just trying to drop again. Trying to drop is one of the few things that he can try to achieve. For Tefel, we have a situation where he should probably try and take a bit more map control. One of the things that he doesn't do, or hasn't really done in the last few minutes, is spread his creep. It's a pretty intense game for him now. He knows that he needs to expand, so that's something that pressures him, but I feel with a decent creep spread here, he would be a bit faster to react to what's happening, and he could easily spread that. What's the queen count? How many does he have? Well, 3. Also not really the best queen count there, considering that he has way more than 3 hatcheries. The larva is at 16. It's also not really a lot. considering that he could potentially just like remax with Zerglings if he loses a big fight. So the minerals that he has could lose that. Oh my god, like what is he doing? Like dude, you don't want to fight with Mutalisks like that. They are way too expensive, and also they are very, very vulnerable against Marines. Both players are on 3/3 upgrades. +3 attack also, by the way, +2 attacks for the Mutalisks. That gives them, of course, great hit and run abilities. The count in Ultralisks is currently at 6. 6 Ultralisks at the front. Down here, a move, he saw that somehow, and he loses another Mutalisk. He loses 1, he loses 2, and is he losing another one? No, not this time. But the Mutalisk count is rather low. We have it, well, compared to earlier. 26 right now. How many did he lose? 40 Mutalisks have been killed in this game. This is getting actually pretty nasty. Happy is also running out of resources. Happy has a big army. Same army size than his opponent, but he's running out of resources. Tefel with no additional tech. And Tefel is still roaming the map, trying to set up another base. This time we have it towards the middle of the map, on the right side. But he doesn't want to engage, he doesn't want to fight yet. He sees also the base over here, and Happy is expanding again. Happy is sending one of his command centers down and wants to expand again. This is getting really, really nasty here. I mean, this game is getting super close. Happy is pushing the opponent back, trying to take another Ultralisk, gets the Morphing Banelings here. Stims once more. He has 6 Medivacs. That's not a whole lot. A bit more support would probably help him a bit. We have him with a bit of free up supply that he could use. Here come the missile turrets against the Mutalisk. So far, Tefel doesn't know. Tefel, I actually don't like that he didn't simply use the burrow upgrade to burrow a Zergling everywhere on the map where there are minerals. He could have done that. Uh-oh, and look at those Marines. They're super low already because of all the stims that Happy has been using. Tefel is moving in though, and Tefel is getting slaughtered. The DPS is way too much. Another stim already. If those Banelings connect, the entire army could go down. But he is splitting and takes the Banelings on. The Ultralisks that are still surviving are in trouble. Tefel is at 115 supply against 104. We have 1 base for the Terran Bear, 1 additional base for the Zerg, but the Zerg has not saturated the base yet. We don't have a saturation over here. He's sending drones out over now, but Happy has a much better income at this point. And of course, the burst mining, thanks to the mules, is always amazing if you can rely on that. Mutalisks are still active on the map, but there are only 9 left. A lot of those very expensive units that Tefel had earlier are gone. And this makes it very scary for Tefel right now. That base is a bit exposed. Drops could be very good for Happy, considering that we only have 9 Mutalisks left. He did a great job already when we had more than 20 Mutalisks on the map. With only 9 remaining, he can actually take the Mutalisks on with his Marines. 3/3 Marines are no joke. Especially when you don't have armor upgrades for the Mutalisks. If you have, you can fight those, but without them, they are dying like flies. And the Mutalisks are going to find out that there's another base, but this is already a bit too late. I mean, what are you going to do about it with the missile turrets just in position? He can try and rotate with the rest of his army towards the left side of the map, but then Happy is just going to move in to the right and going to take this base. The Ultralisk count is actually getting really high once more. He's currently looking at 8 Ultralisks and apparently just wants to dominate the ground battle now. Mutalisks are also building up, and another drop down here. Well, there's not really a whole lot to kill. He's trying to chase the Mutalisk. Oh, and it brought friends. The Mutalisk brought friends. It reminds me of the good old days in school when suddenly one of those really annoying kids is bringing his big brother because he can't fight on his own. And then you get beaten up by the brother, or by the brothers. And that's what happened there. Picking on a Mutalisk and suddenly there are like 20 of them. And then you're kind of done. 177 supply against 190. 33 minutes into the game. Tefel, is he losing patience? He's moving to the left. He's trying to take it now. We have Widow Mines bird everywhere. Here comes the Zerg player. He's going for it, isn't he? He's sniping all of the turrets. He has the Mutalisk now to make it work. No repair by Happy. Happy is busy trying to fight the ground army, and actually he's doing a decent job with that. Tefel is losing his ground. He's losing the ground army there, and there's the GG. The army is gone. Tefel is able to take the base to the left, but the ground army just disappears against the Terran player that stims over and over again, and Happy takes game number 1 in this consolation match of Group C at the Dota Cup season final, and is now 1 map win away from advancing to the round of 8. Overgrowth is the second map between Happy, starting here to the bottom left in red, and his opponent to the top right. It is Tefel. Happy on Nimbus, taking the first map in the consolation match here at the Zota Cup season finals. Group C. So if Happy is able to win one more map, then he will advance to the round of 8 and play tomorrow. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how he's going to be able to achieve that. If on Overgrowth he is going to be able to like maybe drop Tefel again and take him out, but I mean for now things are looking pretty good for him. Tefel is going into oversupply on 11 and usually starts with his 14 pool. It would be very surprised to see anything else from him, and there are already 3 additional drones, so the 14 pool from Tefel is definitely going to happen. Happy on the other hand knows that as well. He has played that opponent like several times already, and the only question right now is how is Happy going to play it. Once again, the barracks here first. Are we going to see the 12 gas again? And yes, there it is. Gas dropped at 12. We'll see the Reaper for him moving in. Usually it's the single Reaper that goes for the scouting information, whereas we have Tefel down here with the spawning pool at 14, of course. It's his build. Are we going to see Roach Hydra by him? It's a build that he really liked. It's a composition that he really enjoyed for a long time. Could see him play it on a map like this. He has very good timings with it. And if you hit the Terran player at the right time, then Roach Hydra can definitely wreck an opponent. The problem is just that in the late game they need a lot of support with, let's say, Vipers or also Infestors if you want to make them a valid unit composition. Down to the bottom of the map, we have the Overlord starting to get into position at the natural over here. Of course, also having a look at the high ground to check this one out. As we have to the left side, we have right now the attack into the command center. We have the first Reaper being built, gas being taken, expansion for Tefel. The usual early game that you see, especially between those two. For Tefel, this has been, I don't want to say like a long day, but he's been playing quite a lot of games. He lost the first match in his group against Lil Bao, had then to fight his way through the losers match against Mini Razor, and finally ended up in the consolation match against Happy. And now, of course, being down one game in the series, it's always annoying. There's quite a lot of money on the line. If you are able to get into the round of 8, there's a pretty good chance that you will go home with some prize money. But this is the game that you really have to win if you want to pull that off. And of course, for Tefel, it also means he has to win another one. He needs to win 2 in a row. Right now, we see the expansion started for Happy down to the bottom of the map. We have his Reaper still getting the scouting information at the top. He sees, first of all, that we saw once more. Actually, we do not have gas this time. Tefel is playing this gasless at this point. We're going to see him with a 4-queen defense. I love saying that, by the way, because it always sounds like you are announcing a chess move and like some kind of chess strategy. Yeah, it's the 4-queen defense, and it's like, oh yeah, is that right? Okay, awesome. So, he gets a drone. Yes, he gets one. Gets a drone with a Reaper. That Reaper already well worth it. Job well done. The slide with the harvesters did not work out in Tefel's favor. But yeah, queen number 3 is being built. He's most likely going to throw in another one so that he has the 4th. With those he can defend basically everything. And if you don't go for gas early, it means you play more defensive. Since you don't have the speed, you can't really engage. You cannot fight against Hellions. You cannot really push the Reapers back. You need to have the queens for that. At least not with the Zerglings. You can't push them back. So you rely a lot on the queens, but it also opens up the possibility for you to invest heavily into drones, because you are completely mining only minerals. You can get your 3rd base out there if the spot isn't blocked by a Reaper, as it is right now. The Reaper pulling off a bit of an MJ and just dancing there, going a bit for a moonwalk. And well, for Tefel that means, alright, I'm going to take double gas. That usually happens between 5:30 and the 6-minute mark. He's taking it a bit late, but yeah, roughly at 6 minutes. And then we have, for the Terran player this time, the Banshees with Cloak. That's a build that Happy used several times today already, and especially against Mini Razor, it did a lot of damage. It was able, I think he killed like 60. Yeah, that would be amazing. No, I think it was like more than 30 units with it, so that was pretty cool. Question is, can he do that now? Roach one is being built for Tefel, which kind of already indicates that Tefel is going to use that style that I was talking about earlier, where we see him with Lair Tech now then head into Hydra then and go for Roach Hydra. The expansion down here, it's going to be tricky for Tefel to keep that alive once the Banshee arrives. We have more Hellions first on the way, and there's not really a lot of units that can help Tefel with that. There are no roaches, he's building them now, and the Queen's moving over there would suicide. So without anything that can really push that back, he has to cancel, and he's losing that drone too. A little bit sad for him. We have the Hellions. Oh, the Hellions are on the hunt. They are on the hunt, and they're gonna get nice block there. Whoa, that Warcraft 3 micro. Look at that. He's getting the block in and takes down one of the Queens. And well, with those Banshees, he doesn't have Cloak yet, but he's already whittling away the hit points there. Nice micro by Happy, doing quite a lot of damage to those Roaches. Now the Roaches are pretty unhappy here. He's losing one, he's losing two. He's actually losing a lot here. Happy is playing this really well. He's pressuring Tefel a lot. Tefel has more supply, but Happy doesn't care. And he's killing Harvesters now too. He kills another Queen. There's no real scout or observer. Oh my god, like he's getting 3 more at least. Harvester count 35 against 47. Banshees doing their damage. This is really annoying for him. I mean, he's losing way too much. The problem with this is that the idea for him was to get a third base and to really man up a big push with Roaches and Hydras. That's how he usually plays the game. And if he does that, then he needs to hit the timing. But with all the pressure that we're coming out from Happy right now, he can't really do that. And the way that Roach and Hydra scales into the late game doesn't really work all that well. Third base is now being built for Happy. It's of course a bit later and delayed since he focused on his aggression first, but especially here over at the third, he's doing so much. We have 14 Harvesters killed, and with those 14 Harvesters killed, that's a lot of lava. You have to invest in Harvesters, you can't build units, you just lose that option of being aggressive. And Tefel is trying to just circumvent that by just like throwing the units now down on the bottom side of the map, but we have a third Banshee moving in, and that third Banshee is already taking down Roaches. Up to the top we have the Hellions still doing damage, since they are useless against the Roaches anyways. But down here with the bunker completed and the SCVs just repairing, 3 Banshees moving in, he's gonna lose a few Harvesters and maybe even the supply depot. Not even that is happening. Wow. Like, Tefel is losing everything here. If you look at only supply numbers, it doesn't look too bad, but we are talking Roach supply here. And that doesn't really help him. So in the end, he didn't lose anything here. Looking at the resources lost kind of tells us the story. It's 1,000 resources lost for Happy and 2,800 for Tefel, which is absolutely devastating. The creep spread for him is non-existent. 10 minutes in, there's like nothing. If you look at units lost alone, that's 3 Queens that he took down, 18 Harvesters, and 14 Roaches. So absolutely brutal start for Tefel into the game, even though in raw supply numbers he's ahead right now. Happy finds himself in a great spot, and that's a 4th Queen that he's currently using. It's Queen number 4, that's more Harvesters that get down. Another Queen moving out already, he's losing that too. He can snipe the, he snipes the Hydra. There's a 4th Banshee coming in. Just look at how he demolishes the Harvester count. He takes all of that down. The Hydras, he's feeding them one by one to the 4 Banshees, and with 4 Banshees you cannot only take down the ground units, you can go straight for the structure, and he is trying to eliminate that third. Tefel is getting, like, he is receiving a beating right now. And a pretty brutal one at that. He could even snipe those Hydras. He would lose one of the Banshees at least, but he could go for it. He's dancing with that one Banshee in the back, like, so well, and just, oh my god, like, it's 4,300 that he lost. The Harvester count is 44 against 54. Triple base already for the Terran player with the 3rd orbital nearly done. Resources lost 4,300. If you look at the units lost, structures lost only a few, trip tumors of course. Units lost 30 Harvesters. The Zerg player is so far behind in this game right now. It's just like crazy. And that's the combo that you usually want to attack with what we see here. The Roach Hydra is supposed to move in and do damage, and he cannot do that at all. Like, you want to hit that timing. We are talking 2 siege tanks already that can deal with this. So Tefel is now basically saying, well, that's the build that I have. I need to go cross map right now and do some damage. If I don't do that, I'm absolutely lost. And he has 84 army supplies, so it's not like he is without any chances whatsoever here. But there's the army, and we still have a lot of the Banshees, and once that the Hydras are gone, the Banshees can just reign supreme. And just look how Tefel is getting slaughtered here. There's not even an Overseer with this. Before the Overseer arrives, everything is melted away. The GG Happy dominating the game, taking down Tefel with a 2-0 in the best of 3 and advancing now to the round of 8 of the Zodi Cup season final. Congratulations to Happy, and we are going to see him again tomorrow.